Oh, it's loading.
It's live.
All right.
All right, cool. So let's do it. You want to kick off with gold?
The one we missed, the midnight.
Yeah, intraday we definitely missed that move, but it is what it is. Um, going from higher time frames on down, weekly chart looks like it's printing more or less a doji right now. So a lot of indecision. Not
And a
much.
support. So
Yeah, that too. Daily candle coming off 1680, and we're here, kind of hitting like some kind of intraday support here, where this little yellow level is. So kind of similar to the EU situation that I was talking about. Like this looks like it could be a lower high up here,
mm,
but this also could be a higher low here, depending on what happens. So I'm curious to see if gold can successfully stay below these levels. So like intraday, if like we come up to 1710 and bounce away, I think that'll be a great trade because that's clear resistance right here. But if we push through 710 and keep going, then that could be a higher low, and then we start to push higher on gold.
1720, you mean?
That too, yeah.
Oh, I see. Yellow 1710. Okay. And then you have yellow.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure what happens right here. It's hard to call it, and I think that's going to be across the board. Um, with UJ, that triangle situation that I was talking about yesterday, that's kind of playing out. Although, of course, the price action of this is not going to be the prettiest or the easiest to play on UJ. It's just moving slow as molasses, but it keeps making higher highs and higher lows, so you can't really argue with it.
Yeah.
Um, it looks like we broke this triangle structure yesterday, and we're starting to push up. Kind of tested the highs. Looks like we're coming into that now. I can only assume it's going to keep going, but I don't have a particular setup for it. Um,
I was gonna take that triangle breakout last night, but I never do that, so I never take triangle breakouts. So I was like, yeah, I mean that's not
yeah,
fun.
that's not really my thing either. But I mean, I suppose you could do something like this: stop loss below lows, and then set your targets at the next levels, probably like up there. Was that
Yeah, it
195
would
area?
it would have worked, but it could have easily been like, nope.
Yeah, it's not really how I trade, so I'll leave that alone. But cool to watch it though. Um, looking at the weekly, you still have an upside to 195 area. So I can only assume probably next week it'll push up there before we get like any major selling off. Because I don't see really anything in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's UJ.
You.
Yeah, let's look at EU. All right, so EU, looking at the weekly first, again, like we're kind of hovering at support. Weekly's making a doji, right? So, I mean, I know we've been selling off from like the 123 area down into this 119 area that we're at, finding support here, and now we're creating a doji. My theory is that we could possibly flip and reverse here, especially with this week's candle so far being a doji. Um, but again, like that depends on if we could stay at this support. If we start moving below it, then all bets are off. I'll say short into 117, 116.5. It's at a key area that is very difficult to call though. Like intraday, I'm sorry, on daily chart. Um, like this is our wick on the weekly here. These 3 bullish candles, and then today's bearish candle. It was a nice bearish candle, but this could always be retraced within the U.S. session. So I'm curious to see what happens there. But again, like I was saying, intraday, I think it makes a lot of sense. If you want to short below or at like 119, if it gets there, then I think that'll
Yeah,
make sense.
that's what I'm planning. I also want to see how the 8-hour closes here. It's gonna close in an hour, but if it closes like this, all with a big ass wick, also not good.
Yeah,
But if it fills it up before 9, that would be nice.
yeah, I'm just a little bit suspicious that we just retraced this whole bearish move that we made overnight. But see what happens with it. Yeah, I think that's about it for EU. GJ? So let me look at a different GJ chart that I have here. I can't right now. All right, so GJ, even looking at the monthly, right? Like it's coming into this major level up here at like 155-ish. Looking at higher time frames. So I'll be bullish until it really hits those figures. But there's only so much bullish you could be with it being this near to resistance. You know what I'm saying? And that's been the case for what, a few weeks now?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a bit difficult. Although like this move up has been magnificent. Like look at this. It's crazy. Like we got however many odd bullish candles in a row here on the weekly chart, which is pretty nuts. But still, like the price action of it, kind of like UJ, sometimes has been difficult to catch, especially with like from here, from like late February.
Yeah.
I think I was getting too caught up in like the lower time, like the hourly and stuff like that. I was getting too caught up in that. Like following the 4 hour, this makes total sense. Just ride the moving average and yeah, just let it breathe and do its thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's my biggest takeaway from this week. Like manage the trades more with the higher time frames instead of looking at, you know, the little lower time frame back and forth.
Yeah, definitely.
As far as currently though, with GJ, we've like here on the hourly, we've made a pretty big push down here. This is the biggest I've seen in a while, since probably like February 25th over here or something, or March 4th over here. But
Retesting that little
the
breakout I
support,
had.
the
Yeah.
support level here again. Although we retested that already, but
Yeah.
it could do it again. Like I wouldn't. I'll be very cautious trying to go bearish with this. I'd really trying to. Yeah, I would really like let the higher time frames be the guide for that, for any kind of reversal situation. So I'll say for the time being, just no trade. Yeah, there's really nothing to trade here unless maybe on the 4 hour we come into the moving average again, as we've done, you know, hang out and then turn back around. That's definitely possible. Maybe
Yeah,
you can
that's what I was
entertain a situation
thinking.
like that, but that'll be a next week play.
Yeah.
Nothing like that's going to happen right now.
This is the first time in Actually, at the 4 hour, I don't think it was. I don't think it ever touched the moving average this week, did it?
This week? No.
Yeah. Right. So last time it was last week. So this is the first time it goes back to the moving average on the 4 hour, and if it's been respecting the moving average pretty good, and it stays at this level, you're right. Maybe next week there is a good play there.
Yeah.
Despite, I mean, the only thing was is the major resistance that it's close to.
Yeah. But it still
Sucks.
has some upside regardless. I mean, on the 4 hour, 155 is way up here. So, but it could be 154, it could be 153. But even if it is, that's still okay upside.
Yeah, still room for some profit there.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's that. After GJ, we have
EU.
we did a U.
AU. We did AU.
AU.
Yeah, AU.
Yeah, AU.
Aussie.
So Aussie, I have a better label chart for that too. All right. Check out this Fed. My computer restarted, and for some reason, I have like all these old drawing tools popping up in my charts. It's weird. I'm not sure why these lines are still here. But yeah. So in AU, kind of similar. Like I'm seeing this across the market where a lot of things are very close to major supports or major resistances. Like here, Aussie on the weekly, it kind of tapped it because 80 was a major resistance and we tapped that. But I would have expected price action to kind of go deeper into that. And it looks like it still might because I thought this bearish engulfing candle from a couple weeks ago would go unchecked. But you know, so far that's not really the case where price action is kind of invading that. So to me, that tells me that there's a possibility that we could just retrace that whole candle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's another thing about US dollar, whereas if US dollar goes bearish, then you know that's more or less guaranteed to happen as far as AU taking out this candle. So yeah, on AU on the daily, I have like a resistance here at 78.
Mm-hmm.
So if we push through that, then could definitely entertain buys above that level.
Yeah.
And keep it moving. Yeah, so on the 4 hour, just anything above this pivot point right here, probably decent buys. But for the time being, AU is just sideways in this range right here. Anywhere in here, pretty much I really wouldn't touch it unless I'm doing some kind of scalping thing or something. Anywhere between 76 and 78, I wouldn't touch it for a swing trade.
Yeah, it definitely needs to break 76 for it to be a reversal.
Yeah, we're kind of a long way away from that, so we'll see what's up. Hey, you kind of like just looking at the 4 hour really quick, like we made this higher low right here coming off the lows at was that like 76.4, and then we pushed up. We could be putting in some kind of higher low situation because I see like potential for support like right and
Yeah, I have one. I have one at 72, 77, 2. So basically, there, yeah, it's support right there.
Yeah. So we could entertain the support and bounce back up and keep pushing from there. So maybe that's something to think about. But again, I'm not sure if anything like that is going to happen today Or maybe it will happen today. Who knows? Just keep an eye out. Yeah, because this whole level right here goes. Sure. Something like that. All right. So that's that. NU. NU is going to be more or less a carbon copy of what we just talked about.
Yeah, but NU is clearing NU, I would say, is showing clear signs when it comes to possibly moving bearish if it breaks this little support where it's at right now.
Yeah, if it breaks that level, I agree. Monthly chart, we wicked off 74, left that wick rejection and created a support here at 70. Yeah, so breaking below 70 or 7,500, it looks like.
No, and I think even before then, honestly, if you drop down to the 4 hour,
Or 71. Yeah, 71, right?
71, 70.
Yeah, it's 71 for sure.
Oh, but I think even before 71, like where it's at right now, it's kind of similar to EU. It created a lower high. And
Yeah.
it sets support right now. So if it continues on, I think, even though, yeah, there's that support there too. So yeah, the safer entry would be that breakout for that support at 71.
Yeah, break 71, sure. And then after we break 71, then there's like a little pivot point right here. I have to keep that in mind, but still, that's good room from there to there. So I'll happily take a break at 71. Probably on the 1 hour, I think I see the support that you're talking about, like here, something like that. Although it's kind of choppy. Yeah, something like that. It's kind of hard to draw it, but it's gonna be supporting there. I wouldn't trade that situation personally. It looks difficult. Yeah, I'll wait on 71 before anything.
Yeah, 71 is the safer bet. I'm just trying to find what better ways to get better entries for moves that we see coming before. Like we know this is starting to shift to go bearish, possibly. There's a lot of, it's like EU, right? It's like 60, 40, whatever you said. Showing signs is going to shift to bearish. Yes, it makes sense that that bottom support breakout will be the safest signal. But at that point, the entry is not as good versus getting it earlier when it's creating this wave. As it's doing right now, it created a lower high. It's the type of thing that I'm trying to do so we could get better entries. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. It's just
So there's a
and
risk. Right now there's a risk that it can run down to 71 and then not be able to break it. But at that time you have a window of be able to protect the trade if it doesn't continue on. That's my train of thought right now.
yeah, you do have a point with that. Also, another thing to think about with that though is, I mean, being that this whole thing is just consolidation here, it doesn't necessarily have to run down to 71 right here. We could almost do anything in here because there's all kind of supports kind of everywhere. Like there's support there where we're at, like there's like little pivot points in so many places that you have to worry about. It's so difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the tough one. But I think they're better setups than this though. If that even shapes up, like I'm still not 100% convinced about this bullish US dollar yet.
Yeah, we gotta see what happens there.
I believe that's the entire list. Yeah. That's our primary list at least.
All right. I'll stop the thing.
Oh,
Huh?
well, hold on, because looking at Swiss franc, right?
Hmm.
Well, it's too extended to do anything. Pretty much missed the whole move. They had major support down here. We pushed up. Now we're kind of at like a resistance in here, which is like pretty close to the midpoint of the range. I just thought it was interesting how Swiss franc was interacting with this level here. Possible bullish move. But again, like man, it's so confusing. It could go either way. Like we could on Swiss franc, like we could run into this level here, bounce down. But if we clear that level, then I'll be a lot
Yeah,
more
it's
confident.
like pretty much the same thing on all US pairs right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it actually trends next week and that doesn't stay stuck in these damn ranges.
Yeah. I think we're looking at GU earlier in the week. That move actually played out. From this zone to this zone, it played out beautifully.
Yeah.
I missed the play though.
What was the other one? Euro pound. Remember that one? That one
You're,
kind of hit support and just like stuck in a range, consolidating.
yeah, that's just really hanging out.
I'm gonna put a some major support too.
EA, right? What do you think here? Like it's chopping. Not a big fan of that price action, but I do like the fact that it's hanging out below support there.
Yeah.
I think that has good room downside potential.
I have a major support at 153 though.
153. Let me see this.
Like on the weekly.
This chart is so difficult to chart, man.
You can look at the if you see those pivot points right there. Those there you go. Slightly lower, the lowest.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But there's like
It was
tons of them everywhere.
Yeah, but the lowest points of those touches were 1527 on one and then 1534 on the other one. So around 153 is like major support. That's why
I'll probably just end up watching it.
there's some news coming up for Euro. Oh no, that's next week. Oh yeah, there's some news next week.
All right, yeah, that's it.
All right, kill it.